And that is what building a brand is really all about. It is building that culture. And if you don't express those things about yourself, it leaves your prospects and your public to just make up their own minds about that. And when that happens, you've missed the greatest opportunity to influence that perception.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
Today, we're going to talk about going from unknown to unforgettable. Do you ever wonder why some brands just take off and others are barely noticeable? Have you felt that pain? Have you followed all the suggestions from the gurus about creating content and being consistent on social media just to find that your brand has still gained zero ground?
Yeah, and if you have done that, please send us the name of the gurus that you've been talking to, and we'll tell you what gurus to actually talk to. Listen, today we're talking about some of the most unforgettable brands and what you can do to make your own personal brand go from unknown to unforgettable, right? Which is the key to building your business. First, I'd like to say something about personal branding. One of the things is we ask people all the time when they apply to become a BrandFace is tell us about your brand. That's one of the first questions that we ask about, right?
And most of them actually give us their business name, or they talk about their logo, or in some cases they just say, well, it's me, it's my name, right? But in reality, none of those actually constitutes a brand. You see, a brand is an entire ecosystem, right? Here's narrowed down into a pretty good definition. Your personal brand is the perception people have about you and what you're known for.
And I got to say, it's worth pointing out, very few people ever get it right. Like if you watch our Be Bold Brandings where we have guests on, some of them get it right. And especially if they've been through our program, they nail it. But out in the world of marketing and there is just, we talk about it all the time. People don't have a clue what it means to be a brand. And that is the best, I think, explanation that she just gave. But it's not one that we get from clients when we talk to them usually, and might not be the way you would describe it. But Tanya wrote the book on it, and she knows what she's talking about. Your personal brand is the perception that people have about you and what you're known for. It's not anything else, all right? And it is a part of building a culture. And if you don't express those things about yourself, it leaves your prospects and your public to just make up their own minds about that. Oh, they're in the real estate business. Oh, they're a car dealer. Oh, they're an attorney. Oh, they're a podcaster. Oh, they're this or that, right? It's not differentiating at all, right? And definitely doesn't teach them what to know or feel about you, which is what's really important. And when that happens, you've missed the greatest opportunity to influence that perception. And that is what building a brand is really all about. It is building that culture. Let's talk about some great examples of unforgettable brands, and you'll have a little bit more of a basis for what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about 3 today. All 3 are our clients. And so we know the story behind them. We know their brand top to bottom, and we're going to give you some really good insight into why they went from unknown to unforgettable. Okay. So assume you're someone out there, a prospect perhaps, looking to do some extended travel or even travel full time. Which would be more appealing to you? The name Heather Markel or Heather Markel, the full-time travel coach? Ditch your desk and discover your destiny. Okay. So let's break that down for a moment. Heather's name is important, right? Because that's Heather.
That's
right?
Heather.
That's
how we identify.
That's
Heather.
Right. But we've got to go beyond that. Okay. It's more important, even more important, when her prospects know what she does, right? To distinguish her, to differentiate her. She's a full-time travel coach. Okay. That's enough to kind of get your curiosity going. What's that all about, right? And it's even more important to prospects when she adds her slogan to that: ditch your desk, discover your destiny. And that speaks to what you as the prospect wants. You see how that works? So if Heather only promoted her name, but didn't include right away the fact that she's a full-time travel coach who helps people ditch their desk and discover their destiny, Heather may just be unknown. I mean, people might know her name, but they wouldn't know how to perceive her and how she might be helpful to them. That the brand identifier, full-time travel coach, and discover your destiny as her slogan. It leads people into her story, which is this. She did ditch her desk.
You're right.
And she left that corporate world over 4 years ago. And since that time, that woman has been traveling all over the world nonstop. She does not even have a permanent address, guys.
Yeah,
okay?
even during COVID.
Yes, she did.
She was living and working and traveling in other countries.
Yes.
It's a fantastic story.
It truly is.
You'd never know that from Heather Markell.
No, you wouldn't know that just from her name alone. She teaches other people now how to do the same thing. So imagine if you're the prospect and how much more full that brand begins to become once you hear more than just her name. So now she's unforgettable to those who are looking for exactly what she provides. Okay, so that's one really good example of how you go from unknown to unforgettable.
Yep. Let's look at another example. We have a real estate broker, a client. He's also an investor in Dubai. And his name is Nate Dania. Fantastic dude. Like, this guy's awesome. And again, a great name, Nate Dania. You got like that. But what do you know about Nate just by hearing his name? You don't know anything about him, right? But when he adds his brand identifier to his real estate marketing, Nate Dania, Dubai's lifestyle locator, which happens to be one of our trademarks, by the way.
Yes.
It tells you what he does, right? And when you look, even if you can't point to where Dubai is on the world map, you probably have heard of Dubai, and you probably know that Dubai is filled with uber luxurious people, lots of money. They made the island, out of nothing that was there. Like, this place is like a top 5 destination on earth. Like, there is a lot that you probably instinctively already know about Dubai, even if you don't know anything about it. What do you know about Nate Dania? Nothing, right? But then when you say Nate Dania, Dubai's lifestyle locator, you know exactly what number one, you already know the rumors of Dubai, and now you know that there's a guy there that finds those lifestyles for that. What qualifies him for that, right? Which, if you watch us and qualifications, something's very important. Right. He's a lifetime resident of Dubai. He grew up there. He's always lived there. He has extensive knowledge and experience selling luxury lifestyle. He was already a broker when we met him, right? He had already had this experience, but nobody really knew it. His clients are seeking luxury beachfront, waterfront properties, holiday homes, or investments. So he knows exactly who he's talking to. He's worked remotely with clients from all countries and cultures to ensure safe and secure investing, which it is, and he's an expert at it. And his clients invest in Dubai because it's a lifestyle that they want, and most of us do. And now they found the perfect person to help them locate that lifestyle, Nate Dania.
Yep, exactly. So you see how Nate just went from unknown to unforgettable. Mm-hmm. Now that we have that lead in into his full story. Okay. All right. Now, one more example. Her name also happens to be Heather. It's Heather Day here. Okay. Heather Kvitko White. Okay. She's a veterinarian and an academic who became an international speaker on the subject of the common sense care of animals. Well, alone, her name doesn't tell you much. Dr. Heather Kvitko White tells you she's a doctor. Okay. But when you add her brand identifier, which is the pragmatic professor, okay, it speaks volumes to her ideal prospect in the academic and medical world. Okay. So that lets them know she speaks about pragmatic things. And when she talks about the common sense care of animals, people listen because of her background. She spent about 7-8 years as a veterinarian in private practice. And then she left there because one of the things she told us is in her story as part of her brand is that she realized that these great veterinarian schools, even though they're cranking out great veterinarians, they don't crank out veterinarians who know how to run a business or lend that common sense or pragmatic part of running the business. They know how to take care of animals, which is, of course, primary purpose, right?
Right.
But the common sense care of animals and the common sense part of running that as a business, that was lacking. And that's what caused her to want to speak on the world stage about this very topic. Okay, so the pragmatic professor brand identifier, it positions her as someone who speaks about that pragmatic side of veterinary medicine. And to you, the lay person, it might not mean very much. That's okay. You're not the person she's trying to attract unless you're trying to hire her to speak on an international stage somewhere. So keep in mind that brings the fullness of her story and her brand right into play just at a glance. Now, the pragmatic professor, Dubai's lifestyle locator, and full-time travel coach, ditch your desk, discover your destiny. Those are not the complete brand, guys.
Right.
Those are brand identifiers we're talking about, which is the window to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of grabs people's attention from the very beginning, makes them go from unknown to, hey, that's interesting. Let me look a little more. And then that gets them a little farther into the full ecosystem of that brand. Okay. So hopefully these three examples will give you some better understanding here.
Yeah. Look them up. And you'll start to understand what a brand it requires, right? And that's really what we want to talk about every week that we bring y'all great content here. And that's why we say hit the subscribe button and follow us, because we know about building these brands and we know what it does for your business. We know specifically because not only have we built BrandFace the same way, we've also I learned these principles from Michael Carr and Associates, and we have quadrupled income many years, doubled it nearly every year since we learned these principles. We can show you the exact same ways, just like we showed Nate and Heather how to do these things for their brands. We can do the same thing for you. It's an entire ecosystem, and it helps people understand and answer the 5 critical questions that hopefully our loyal listeners could also go ahead and spout right now. But if you've just joined us, these are the things we're going to talk about just about every time you see us.
Yep.
5 critical questions that your brand must answer.
Who do you serve? How do you serve them? What qualifies you to serve them? How does it make their life better? And what makes you different from everyone else also trying to serve those same people? And I just want to give a shout out to all 3 of those amazing clients for being such great human beings for one thing, and for another, allowing us to share their brand and their story with you guys.
And for being people that use their brand, which I think is insane cool, right? Because number one, we know it works. But when we see people like that worldwide stage that are using that, it's fantastic. And we also see the joy that they get from growing their business. We want the same thing for y'all. When we talk about prosperity, we're not just talking about money. Money's okay, money's important, but we really want the full 360 of an abundant life. What we wish for every one of y'all. We know at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. So we say be bold all the time, every time, especially in what's left of 2022, plenty of time left in the year, and especially preparation for 2023. Which is also going to be an incredible year.
Exactly. Start the new year off with a new brand, a brand new you, baby.
Yep. And thank you, Ms. Tanya.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.